Welcome in, guys. I'm Noah Castor. To my right, we have Brandon Hudson, and across the table we have my man Darren Kinslow, and we are the BenchWarmers. Today we're going to be discussing some news about Kyler Murray, the Antonio Brown trade that should be done, later today, and then our offseason report for the 49ers. So let's get right into it. So basically, it's becoming more and more apparent that Kyler Murray is probably going to get picked with the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. I don't like it, but
I don't like it either. A large part of their very bad season was just because they didn't have enough players. I mean, the offensive line was horrible. Rosen didn't have anybody to throw to. And I think the quarterback position is not their problem. I think it has a lot to do with their defense and their offensive line and weapons. And I don't think Kyler Murray is the answer. For one, he requires such a unique game plan. I just think it's a bad move. I think you just got to get your best player because they just need help at all positions. Just get the best player in the draft and draft Bosa. Yeah, but it's looking like that's the way they're going to go.
Yeah, getting another quarterback that you think maybe he's a little bit better than Josh Rosen. I don't think he is. I think Josh Rosen is better than Kyler Murray.
Yeah, same.
But if you think he's better, I don't understand how that's going to fix any of your other problems if he's going to carry you to the playoffs. It's just not going to happen. You don't have the weapons. Brandon, what do you think about them picking him number 1 overall?
I definitely don't think he has the weapons there. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald, but he's going to retire probably next season, I imagine.
Yeah, he's old.
And, I mean, they don't really have a big-name tight end either, so that doesn't help. So he doesn't really have much of people to pass to. I mean, that are big names.
Line is horrible.
Yep, offensive line's very bad. I mean, they don't all around. I don't think it's going to be a good pick, especially with Nick Bosa being there. At least help your defense out to pick up where Josh Rosen's going to need help with being on offense. So, I mean, I just don't think it would be a good pick. Maybe, actually, I probably won't even go into that. I was going to say maybe even just surprise everyone, go maybe a wide receiver or something just to help the offense.
Maybe trade back, but no, they're going to pick Kyler, and it's horrible. Let's go ahead and move on to the Antonio Brown news, saying it's going to be done Friday, and we're going to have a video out on that once it happens. Where do you guys think he's going to go?
I'm going to say Raiders just because they have the draft capital to do it. I mean, they've got 6 first-round picks. Why not use one of those to get a solid, elite wide receiver? I think that's the most logical move for the Steelers and for the Raiders. We were going to say 49ers. I think they need a lot of help with the receiver. We'll get into that. But that's where I think. I think a lot of the teams that we thought were going to be the landing spot for him, they've kind of fell down. So I've got Raiders. I said Packers, which I thought would be pretty good for him, but I think it's looking like it's going to be Oakland.
Yeah, I don't really understand this move if Oakland does it. I think that's where he's going to go. I don't understand why you get an aging wide receiver if you're not ready to contend right now, which is why I thought he was going to the Packers. But I don't think this move makes any sense for the Raiders. Get the best player available in the draft. Don't draft a 30-year-old drama queen at wide receiver. But that's my thought. I don't know. Brandon, what do you got?
Yeah, I had him going to the 49ers. Definitely, because he definitely favored going to them at first, but now he's definitely released that he does not want to go there anymore. So I had him going to the 49ers, but I definitely think now, looking at it, I mean, the Packers have fallen off the map for it, and the Raiders have now gained more interest than anyone else. So I think definitely the Raiders will probably pick him up.
Definitely. Yeah, I think Raiders is probably the only landing spot.
Or somehow Carolina, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Since they need help, but...
Yeah, we don't really know the status of Cam Newton right now, so I don't know what they're gonna do. So I think Raiders, but we'll have a video out on that once
it actually
happens.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and move right into our next offseason report, which is going to be over the 49ers. The 49ers, it's weird how poorly they did. They got hit with the injury bug. I think they have a really good team.
They do.
Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be coming back after that nasty ACL injury. What do you guys think they do at number 2? They have the number 2 overall pick. Let's say in our scenario, Kyler Murray gets picked number 1. Where are they going number 2?
Now I think you go right to Nick Bosa. I think they do need help at defensive end and edge rush, and he's gonna be that person for them. But I also think they need a lot of help with wide receivers.
Definitely.
Because their offense is good. They have Jimmy Garoppolo. They have Jerick McKinnon now coming back. George Kittle, and Marquise Goodwin also. So
and see that's where I thought maybe Antonio Brown maybe fit in there too and add some more weapons to it.
Yeah.
Add a big name weapon into it.
One more. That's what they need.
Yep.
They need one more.
And their offensive line is pretty set. I think they could use a guard, but for the most part, they on paper they look like a really good team.
Definitely.
So like you said, last year they just got hit with the injury bug. I mean, two of the biggest positions on offense. You lose those two guys, but
yeah, that's tough.
On the defensive side, like I said, if you can get Nick Bosa, that'd be awesome. Also, another corner since Richard Sherman, he's aging. He doesn't have very much left.
Nope.
And they're kind of shallow on that position, so I think get another corner or a safety, like you mentioned before. We started recording Earl Thomas, maybe.
Yep.
But I think this is bold, but I think they might be able to win the division this year. I think the Rams may fall off.
Wow.
And I think it's going to be Seattle and San Francisco in the running for that division.
Wow.
Yikes.
Give them 2 years and they're definitely winning the division. I'll say that.
I agree with Darren on it. I agree that they're going to pick Nick Bosa most likely. Now he's going to fall to number 2 with the Cardinals picking Kyler Murray most likely. I think, in my opinion, they should have picked Nick Bosa up in the draft and then maybe trade for something for Antonio Brown. That would have knocked 2 of their positions out that they would have, and that would have been helped on offense and defense at that point now. And you've still got your Nick Bosa from the second pick in the first round overall. So I think that would have definitely helped them. I agree they need help on the offensive line a little bit, and other than that, I mean, they aren't that bad. Maybe a corner, maybe a safety. I don't know. Other than that, I mean, they seem pretty good on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm. All right, I have an interesting perspective on the number 2 pick. I think they go Josh Allen out of Kentucky, outside linebacker. Really good pass rusher. He had racked up 17 sacks in his last season. That's really impressive. Plus, he can cover like crazy. He's covering tight ends and running backs out of the backfield, which I think is something you need to do in this new NFL. There's not many like run-stopping linebackers. That's just not the thing anymore. You have to cover, and I think he fits that mold perfectly. I love Nick Bosa, I really do, but I don't think he fits because the past 3 years they've drafted 3 defensive linemen in the first round. So I think outside linebacker is a really good pick. And this is a really stacked wide receiver class, so I think they can fix their wide receiver problem in the draft, maybe second round. Get somebody like Paris Campbell, somebody like that's going to fall into the second round. That's another speed, another burner, and can really spread the offense around. And I really love Earl Thomas for the 49ers. I think they're going to be able to spend big in free agency, and I think that's going to be their one acquisition that they need to get. I think they can get by with corner, a center fielder, safety like Earl Thomas. Really patrolling the backfield for the safeties is really going to help create takeaways, and they were among the last in the league in takeaways last year. So I agree with you. I think they're a really good team. I don't know if they're going to win the division. That's a tough division with the Rams and the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks do take a step back, and I think the Rams do take a step back because the Rams were just so good. They're going to lose so many free agents because they just went all in this year. But I think, give it 2 years. I think the 49ers do win their division because of how young they are, and they're just going to keep progressing and progressing. So I think they have a really good chance with Jarrett McKinnon coming back, even though that's a big contract that they gave him. I think it's going to be good. And then the man Jimmy Garoppolo coming back. So Jimmy G coming back. So I think the 49ers have a good chance of really bouncing back and probably making the playoffs next year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. I think that's all we have for this.
That's all. We got the hype video coming out for this. We're going to do that with every team we do. So
definitely, yeah. And then be on the lookout for that Antonio Brown video as soon as that trade happens. We're going to get into the booth and really try and bump that video out. Yep. So that's been it for the Benchwarmers, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Deuces.